Have you ever seen a ghost in a photograph? Not a spectral figure in a dusty attic window, but the ghost of a life you thought was yours, smiling back at you from a sun-drenched lie. I saw one at 2:17 a.m. on a Tuesday, the blue light of my phone painting my face in the darkness of our Chicago bedroom. It was a picture from my sister's family vacation to Miami, posted hours ago. There, tagged in the album, was my wife Sarah. She was laughing, her head thrown back, a man's arm draped casually around her shoulders. The man wasn't me. I was 800 miles away, working a double shift to pay for the very trip she'd told me was a solo yoga retreat to find herself. The caption read, "So glad Mark could make it this year." Mark, her colleague, the one she swore was just a friend. In that single glowing frame, the last 9 years of my life turned to ash in my mouth. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel. Tell us where you're from and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. The humiliation was a physical thing, a hot spike behind my eyes. I thought of her that morning, kissing me goodbye, her Lululemon bag packed. "I need this, Alex," she'd said, her voice earnest. "Just some time to clear my head." I'd hugged her, told her to relax, to find her peace. Now the memory felt like a sucker punch. Her peace was in another man's arms. Strange behavior started clicking into place like a combination lock. The late nights at the office, the phone angled away from me, the sudden obsession with a new, expensive perfume. She'd become distant, a beautiful, cold statue in our home on North Clark Street. When I'd try to get close, she'd flinch, blaming stress. "You're being needy, Alex," she'd say, her voice sharp, manipulative. "I'm just busy. Don't you have your own life?" Her and Mark, they felt untouchable. I'd see them in her Instagram stories, laughing at lunch with coworkers, a little too close, a little too familiar. They were hiding in plain sight, and the arrogance of it all was breathtaking. The breakdown happened in my truck, parked in a grimy garage off Wacker Drive. I'd just seen a receipt for a 2-night stay at the Thompson Hotel in a bag she'd left in the car. The dates matched a work conference she'd attended last month. I gripped the steering wheel until my knuckles were white, the city lights blurring through a film of tears. The man who had built a life for her, who had held her, trusted her, was gone. In his place was a hollowed-out shell. But as the sobs subsided, something else rose from the wreckage. A cold, hard resolve. The grief turned to ice in my veins. I wasn't just going to leave. I was going to become a strategist. I was going to become a ruthless. For the next 3 months, I was a ghost. I hired a private investigator, a grizzled ex-cop who worked out of a dusty office in the Loop. He was worth every penny. He gave me photos grainy, damning images of them kissing outside a diner, holding hands in Lincoln Park, entering the same hotel I already knew about. I opened a new bank account, slowly siphoning my savings into it. I met with the best divorce attorney in Chicago, a woman with a reputation for being a shark. We sat in her high-rise office overlooking Millennium Park, and I laid out the evidence. The photos, the hotel receipts, the text messages I'd managed to recover from our shared cloud account. Her plan was simple and brutal. "Illinois is a no-fault state, Alex," she said, her eyes glinting. "But infidelity can influence the division of assets, especially when marital funds were used to facilitate the affair. We're not just going to divorce her. We're going to leave her with nothing." The trap was set for our 10th anniversary party, Sarah oblivious. Planned the whole thing a lavish affair at a rooftop bar overlooking the Chicago River. She wanted to show everyone how perfect our life was. It was the perfect stage for her downfall. She stood there in a shimmering silver dress, a glass of champagne in her hand, the picture of success. Mark was there, of course, lurking at the edge of the crowd with a smug grin. My moment came during the toasts. I took the microphone, my heart a cold, steady drum in my chest. "I want to thank you all for coming," I began, my voice even. I looked directly at Sarah, her smile faltering as she saw the look in my eyes. "Sarah and I have built a life together. It's a life of secrets." A murmur went through the crowd. I saw Mark shift uncomfortably. I continued, "For our anniversary, I wanted to share a special album I put together." A little trip down memory lane. On the giant projector screen behind me, where a slideshow of our happy moments was supposed to play, the first image appeared. It was a crystal-clear photo from the Pi. Sarah and Mark, locked in a passionate kiss outside the Thompson Hotel. Gasps rippled through the room. Sarah's face went white. The champagne glass slipped from her fingers and shattered on the floor. The next photo flashed on screen, them holding hands, walking into the hotel lobby. Then another, the hotel receipt, with the room charge circled in red. Then the text messages blown up for everyone to read. "Can't wait to have you all to myself," one of hers read. "Alex is so clueless," read another. With each click of the slideshow, another piece of her perfect world crumbled. Her friends stared, mouths agape. Her parents looked horrified. She turned to me, her eyes wide with a mixture of terror and fury. "Alex, how could you?" she whispered, her voice trembling. I leaned into the microphone. "The same way you could spend our money on hotel rooms with him," I said, my voice echoing across the silent rooftop. "The divorce papers were filed this morning. My lawyer will be in touch about the fraud charges for the funds you embezzled from our joint account to fund your trips." I looked over at Mark, who was trying to slip away. "And Mark, my lawyer has already sent a copy of this presentation to your wife and your HR department." He froze, his face a mask of pure panic. The public exposure was absolute. She was ruined, socially and legally. Her carefully constructed world had been detonated in front of everyone she knew. I walked away from the microphone, leaving her standing alone in the wreckage of her life, the damning photos still cycling on the screen behind her. I didn't look back. The divorce was swift and brutal. She lost everything. The house, her reputation, the money. The last I heard, she was living in a small apartment out in the suburbs, working a dead-end job. I never saw her again. Sometimes late at night, I scroll back to that vacation album on my sister's page. The picture is still there. Her laughing in the sun, forever tagged in her own betrayal. The ghost in the machine. The end.